It sprung out of this area, the Silicon Valley area. People started out doing most of the stuff in their garages, and it really does feel like the sky's the limit. And that's where the satisfaction comes from, is anything can happen.
You've probably heard of safety testing for food products or agriculture, but how about marijuana? A new cottage industry taking shape in California is aiming to do just that, making weed safer for people with weak immune systems through forensic testing.
It's very important because every other industry has some component of quality control testing, has regulations, has standards.
That's Josh Wurzer, the lab director at SC Laboratories. He's also the creator of the company and gave us a tour of his lab in Northern California.
Right now in California, the medical marijuana industry is basically kind of a free-for-all. I think a lot of people are finally getting to the point where they're like, give us some sort of guidance, give us some sort of framework to work within, and then we at least know where we stand.
If the words quality control or regulations make you a bit queasy, you should know Wurzer's customers, which include dispensaries and growers, are stepping up to do this without any sort of government agency forcing them. Why? Promising safety to customers may just be good business sense.
So I'm not going to just go take a bottle of aspirin and have nothing on the label and have the doctor just be like, well, take a few and see what happens. Same thing with alcohol. You're not going to, any bottle of alcohol you're going to buy is going to give you information on the amount of alcohol in that beverage.
It's going to give you a proof. There's a difference between a bottle of wine and a bottle of whiskey.
Exactly, and the problem with a lot of the cannabis products is that it's not as easy to judge as it might be with alcohol, where you can taste the extra alcohol in it. With cannabis, especially with some of these edible products, it's a brownie. And who knows if they used an ounce of cannabis to make that brownie or if they used a couple grams of cannabis.
Wurzer showed us what he meant, pointing out a sample the lab was currently looking at for a client.
Over here, this other major peak we have is THC, delta-9 THC. That's the compound that actually gives you the psychoactive response. And this right here is THC acid, which is the form of THC that the plant actually produces.
According to Wurzer, dispensaries and growers are seeing a lot of promise in the testing.
We have several hundred clients across the state, and these are dispensary owners or growers who do it voluntarily. And it's amazing to see the people who are voluntarily coming to us paying a lot of money to have us test their medicine, some of which doesn't pass, and just to ensure that the patients that they serve are as safe as possible.
Now I know what you're thinking. How do you go about this kind of testing without some sort of standard? Wurzer says he works with government and private organizations that set standards for liquor, and they're always looking to other organizations for guidance.
Our microbiological testing is pretty universally used for foods and nutraceuticals and other products like that. Our pesticide tests come directly from the EPA. And in our potency testing, we originally were using United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes method that they use to test seized cannabis. We've moved on and improved on their methods, but I mean, so all of our methods are based in real world scenarios for other products. It's a lot of fun. It feels a lot to me like it probably felt, back 20, 30 years ago when the computer industry was taking off in this area. It's a lot of people are kind of the sky's the limit. You feel like every day you can kind of mold the whole new industry and have some sort of impact. And when I was working in the electronic materials industry, I was just another cog in a giant machine. Here, it feels like you can actually make some change and have some influence. And the parallels are very similar. It's sprung out of this area, the Silicon Valley area. People started out doing most of the stuff in their garages, and it really does feel like the sky's the limit. And that's where the satisfaction comes from, is anything can happen.
Are you the Steve Jobs of Cannabis Valley?
I wouldn't say that, but I would say I'm having a lot of fun, and I think I get to meet the future Steve Jobs of this industry on a daily basis. So that's cool.